Really, Matt? Is that how you took it? Come on, Matt. We've both known Red for 20 years, right? That's how you want people to see him, as some lovable cuckold. You know Darla and the kids have been harassing Red for years. And for what? Some asshole with a lot of money? Darla should be glad it wasn't me. I wouldn't give that bitch a dime. There never should have been a Red and Darla Clayton. Pardon my rant. I'm a friend of Red's, David Michaels. Matt and I have been Red's brothers for over 20 years. I, for one, think Matt was too kind in his description of the whore, but that's just my opinion. If you've read Matt's version of what happened to Red and Darla's marriage, then you have a small idea of what happened, although it's a bit, unimportant. Matt and I have always looked at things differently. So this is my version of what happened. I told Red from day one that there was a problem with Darla, but as usual, his common sense lost out to his hormones, or, in Darla's case, harlots. Darla is a good-looking woman with a nice body, and that was all Red saw at first. We kept trying to get the word out to Red that Darla was getting caught every now and then, if you know what I mean. You see, it was one of those little facts that Matt left out. Matt has a knack for glossing over facts. When Red and Darla were dating, Red thought it was exclusive. He should have asked Darla what exclusive meant. The guys and I would occasionally see her on campus with different guys, but she would make Red believe it was just a classmate or a guy she was studying with. I wished I had a tutor like that. We would ask Red about it, and he would say it was just a friend. Darla should have seen Red coming. He must have the word sucker tattooed on his forehead. Darla could have told him there was a thunderstorm outside on a sunny day, and he would have believed her. And when we tried to explain to him what was going on, he thought we were just jealous of their relationship. So I left him to his own devices. But I was still his friend, and we were there to support him when the time came. Then, like a fool, at graduation he proposed to her. I had to tell him later that what he took for glee was laughter. Dean Howard said, "You can't turn a whore into a wife." I don't know what it was about Darla that blinded Red, but she had him wrapped around her finger. Over the years, Darla became a lawyer, and Red became a detective in the police department. Matt told you why Red was kicked off the force, but omitted the part where Darla represented the victim's wife in a lawsuit against the city. Darla wasn't angry or afraid of Red. She was afraid that Red would find out she had a lover. Darla gave him a hard time about not being home and spending time with the children, but at the same time, she was taking the kids to her lover's house. Funny how Matt didn't mention that. You see, it's not as simple as it seems. Darla didn't care about Red and hardly ever had. Red was a means to an end. As for their marriage, think about it. Red working himself to death, all for a whore wife and ungrateful kids who left him for another guy without even blinking an eye. I mean, I'd expect that from Darla, but the kids, that's what got me. Some of you may think I'm a hater, so be it. But where are some of you, and where was Darla when Red almost killed himself? I'll tell you where Darla was. She was sleeping with Marty. Red wasn't trying to match that whore's income. He was paying all the fucking bills himself. Matt also left out the part where Darla was buying Marty all those expensive gifts. Marty was a big-time lawyer, so when he found out about the whore Darla was taking to college, he wanted to take a bite out of the poison apple. It took him a week to do it, but after that, Darla became his willing whore. And for you bleeding hearts, where is your pity for Red? Here is a man who loves his children to death. His whore wife cheats on him for years, and what do? They take their mother's side. Matt also left out the part about Red giving his son his bone marrow. There are tons of little things Red did for his kids on a daily basis, but so what? Marty has a pool, and he promised them cars when they were old enough. Darla didn't need to turn the kids against Red with words. Her actions spoke for themselves. It took Red years to realize they weren't worth fighting them. If it wasn't for Rob and Joe, Red would be homeless. I will never understand how you can pay your mortgage every month and then give your investment to a cheating bitch. When a husband cheats, you'll never hear the wife say, "I'll leave tomorrow." No, she says, "Get your cheating out of my house." But Red just walked out of his life and let the whore have it all. After Gabe gave him the tape of the kids, that was it. I told Red to move on, to hell with them. I mean, he's doubling child support. He never misses a date, and those little offspring love her lover even more. Then, years later, his daughter is about to make a deal. Gabe gets in trouble trying to save her ass. This was supposed to show Red how they really feel about him. Darla wants him to come to dinner and be friends with her husband, who slept with her for years while she was married to Red. FYI, Matt overlooked something else. Red didn't marry Christy. He married Marcy. Matt also failed to mention the party that Red showed up at for Thanksgiving dinner. Marty and Darla asked Red to say, "Thank you." Red thanked Big Guy for the fact that he and Darla didn't have more children. He talked about how those two had gotten to him and how he wished he had used a condom. He said that he regretted not listening to all the people who tried to tell him that Darla was a slut. Then he said, "Amen." I guess since Marty decided he was man enough to steal Darla, he might as well whip Red's ass. He realized he was wrong. Red hasn't spoken to Darla or the kids since. A year later, Darla and Marty divorced after Marty caught Darla sleeping with a paralegal. Randy is in jail for embezzlement, and Jennifer married her drug dealer boyfriend, and they have 6 kids, all mixed race. I feel sorry for the kids. Mom and Dad are white, 2 look Asian, 1 is half black, and the youngest looks Latino, like mother, like daughter. All of this happened 10 years ago. Red had just turned 61. He has a 7-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter. Marcy talks to Red about everything. She found out early on that Red wasn't playing. She went to lunch with her boss. He tried to kiss Marcy. She told him no, then noticed a red dot on his chest. Then it moved to her breasts. They looked around to see where it had come from. In front of the restaurant, Marcy spotted Red's truck. In the front seat sat Red with an AR-15 automatic with a laser sight. Then he drove off. It was 2 days before Marcy returned home. Red said something that Marcy will never forget. "Marcy, I know you haven't cheated yet. If you do, you won't see it coming. And for those who say Red will be in jail, it won't happen. Marcy was the only one who saw him, and neither were we. He never left work. Matt didn't mention that either. As you can see, Red was not, and is not, a lovelorn cuckold. He was just a fool in love who paid the price for marrying a whore. Don't worry, I got Matt's approval. I know the haters will voice their opinions. I welcome your comments."